Good morning, everyone. Thanks for logging in this morning, and we sure appreciate you taking part of your Saturday to take a look at a little deeper look into Pivotal Wealth and our partnership with Apiary Fund. And it's kind of cool. Matt and I live real close to the office. We come into an empty office building pretty much every day, and we obviously try and practice a little social distancing between each other. But here we are. I got my nice quarantine beard. Matt wears a hat because he hadn't had a haircut in 2 months either. So, but hey, listen, we're gonna jump right into it, guys, and we don't take it lightly that you're spending a little bit of your Saturday with us, and sure appreciate your time. And we've been doing these webinars every night where we talk about trading and the concept of learning this skill. And we realize people all over the country and the world, for that matter, their world's been turned upside down a little bit, especially financially, and the stress and anxiety of not knowing what is coming soon in the next 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year. And the remedy to that stress, at least on the financial side, is having a skill where you can earn money without your income being dependent on an outside force, right? Something that you can't control. And so as we go through that, we talked about the main reasons people don't get into this skill and learning this, or the reasons they don't trade was, number one, nobody's ever taught them how to do it. They don't know how. They know somebody that did it that wasn't successful, or maybe they've even tried it a little bit themselves and weren't successful at it. Or maybe they're like a lot that just have never even heard of it. They don't know what Forex is or currency trading, and they don't even know what a pip or a lot size or a candle is or anything. They're just starting from ground zero, and it feels like they're standing on the ground in front of a huge mountain with a lot to learn, a lot to climb. But the other reason they don't do it is because they don't want to risk any money. And guys, if you're on this call, you probably know that with Pivotal Wealth and with Apiary Fund, we have solved both of those issues. We have the best training system in the world, with arguably the best trader in the world, who's got 20 years of experience and an incredible wealth of knowledge that he transfers it to helping people learn this trade. And this, literally what he talks about, I love his analogy of a money tree in his backyard, right? If he needs some money, he goes right out to the backyard, plucks it off the tree, and it regenerates itself. And so, that's just the perfect analogy for this skill. And then, of course, he's so confident in the training that he's put together that he doesn't expect you to trade your own money. He says, listen, I'll teach you to do it, then I'll give you the money to trade, and we split the profits. So everybody gets that, right? We all understand, wow, that's an amazing concept and it's cool, but can I do it? Like, literally, I understand it sounds amazing, but what about me? Can I do it? And so sometimes when we get on these webinars and we hear all the stories of these traders, we forget that those are people just like us. When we talk about all the traders, the thousands of traders around the world at Apiary, people sometimes forget that those people are you. Those people are trading from home, right? They're learning the skill just like you did. They went through the beeline, and they may be 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years ahead of you where you're at today. But now they're actually trading and making money. And Shawn talked about, I'm not going to steal his thunder because I'm sure he'll talk about this today. But on the call yesterday, he said, guys, with all the turmoil and everything going on in the world right now, last month was our record month. Traders made more money last month. The fund grew bigger than it ever has in 1 month. And so just, gosh, talk about perfect timing, right? But that always goes back to, can I do it? And guys, my entire career, I just always believed that facts tell, stories sell. I can sit here and tell you the facts of the apiary and the average return and the all the statistics about the beeline and everything else. And that's great. But what really gets the point across to me is other people doing it, right? Is it real? And if I can listen and see other people doing it and having success, then it makes it more real for me. And so, guys, what we're going to do today is I've asked a handful of people to tell their story about their experience with apiary and meeting Shawn and kind of going through this system. And this isn't a sales pitch, guys. I told people, do me a favor, be brutally honest, tell your story. And if you know one thing about me is I don't call you 3 days in advance to say, hey, do me a favor and put together a nice testimonial and practice it and have your bullet points and notes ready. I called all these folks last minute and I said, hey, do me a favor and just speak from the heart and tell your story. I don't want it to be rehearsed, but there's a lot of people on here who are just looking at this, deciding whether this is something that they want to do and kind of take on as an opportunity to make some money in their household. So we're going to go through a few of these names. I actually asked Chris Reed to give a testimonial again. He did it last week, but I screwed up the recording, and so it didn't get Chris's testimonial on here. And so we had a lot of people that listened to him and said, holy cow, I want to hear this guy again. I want to hear this guy, but I couldn't send the recording because I messed it up. So I asked him to do it again today. Guys, I've known Chris for 6 or 7 years now, incredibly successful in the financial services world, a 7-figure earner. And he'll tell his story about meeting Shawn and his skepticism in the beginning and where he's at today. He is flying through the training in the beeline. He's been in this, I guess, about 6 weeks now, and he should be a funded account probably in the next 2 weeks. So he's definitely not letting the grass grow under his feet. So, Chris, you should be unmuted, buddy.
Yeah, good morning. Can you hear me?
You can.
What is shaking? How we doing?
Doing good, buddy. Good. Thank you for coming on here again.
Yeah, you bet, man. No, absolutely. So and I appreciate the introduction. Probably a lot nicer words than I could think of, but I wanted to maybe give you guys some perspective about my story because I think I got into it for different reasons than other people on this call. But when I first met Shawn through Matt and Jason at my current company. I don't know how long ago it was. It was in Vegas. It was 6 months ago. Probably part of the reason why I can't remember is because it was in Vegas. But the first time I heard it and heard the opportunity and kind of listened about the business, my first impression was kind of like, that's interesting. And I was busy, right? And I'm busy running my company and doing my thing and whatnot. And obviously during times like this, we're it's all hands on deck and probably much like a lot of you on this call, we're busy, we're scrambling and we're working hard to make things happen. But it stuck with me because it was different. It was interesting. Probably the one and main thing that really stuck with me was just the fact that he was very clear and very intentional about his company, which is really a purpose-driven company. He talks about profit-driven companies and purpose-driven companies. And he was a purpose-driven company. And the fact that he hasn't taken any money out of his fund because the purpose of that fund is to fund others, that's what stuck with me. So I was getting more interested in apiary, not necessarily, honestly, from the perspective of, hey, I want to become a trader and make some extra money, but it was more about maybe I want to be a part of this because I looked at it as something bigger than myself, really bigger than a lot of things that I've heard, and that was really what was intriguing to me. And so I heard him again and got more interested. And probably like a lot of you on the call, I'm asking questions, and it's kind of one of those things where, I trust Matt and Jason with my kids, but it's like the Ronald Reagan approach, right? It's like you trust but verify, and so I'm digging into it and looking more information and doing my due diligence and whatever, and then the coronavirus happened, and this epidemic or whatever the heck you want to call it. I sat down and obviously I'm in high gear working on our business right now. And thankfully we're blessed to be able to still get through it and things are going fine. But, we're all at home. Right. And and I started paying more attention to this apiary thing and talking to Matt and Jason more. And ultimately, to be quite honest with you, it just kind of came to a culmination where it's like, I need to make a decision. And, everybody's motivated differently. And for me, what motivates me, I kind of have to like put myself into a position to go all in, not tiptoe into it. Like I got to go all in. Like I just haven't seen, show me somebody successful that's doing something half-ass or part-time or whatever. And so I signed up for the market maker package because I knew that if I put that investment in, you know what I mean? Like if I put all that money into it, I knew I was going to hit this thing and go hard into it. And what I can tell you is a couple things have changed. I think my conviction for apiary fun has grown tremendously. And the reason for that is because I've got to experience the people, the culture, and the community. I didn't buy into a market maker package. The investment wasn't an investment to become a trader. I really kind of almost look at it as like it's an investment into an entire education. It's an investment into an entire education that's cheaper than any other education you're ever going to see out there. But it's an investment into, honestly, at the end of the day, the two things I think we're all after, which is time freedom and financial freedom. And that's really how I look at it. And so my perception has changed since, because I am 6, 7, 8 weeks into it. I don't even know these Mondays, Sundays, Saturdays, it's all days right now, right? But I'm hitting it hard. And for me, I'm having to squeeze this in the mornings, in the evenings, and the nooks and crannies of my day because I got a full-time job, right? It's different. It's certainly different for me. But what's happened is I've honestly, I've told a couple people this. I've kind of become obsessed about it, and I love it. It is a challenge. It's a new language. It's a new education that I've never experienced. I've never traded, sold a stock, bought it. I've never done any of that stuff in my entire life. And so I'm looking at this, truth be told, as just an entirely new challenge. And I'm really working on this as a way to create my story. I was so gung-ho and focused on how fast can I get funded so that I can show others how to do it. And I still am to a degree. I will get funded in less than 90 days. I don't know how many days it is, but I'm not like actually super concerned about how fast because I'm now more in the mindset of this isn't a get rich quick thing. This isn't a sprint. This is a long-term marathon this is an ongoing thing. And I'm sure Shawn will talk about this, but like Forex has only been around for 20 years or something like that. Maybe a little longer. It hasn't been around that long. And I'll have days where I got this figured out. Let's go. And then the next day the market tells me, nope, you're wrong. Right. And, I don't know, like to think that I'm going to walk into a $6 trillion a day industry and just easily take money from it. I've really had to shift my mindset. And I guess this is also me telling everybody on this call that as well, that this isn't a sprint, get rich quick thing. When you're investing in apiary, you're investing in an education for yourself. You're investing in essentially a trade that you're going to learn that will carry forward for the rest of your life, that nobody else can take away from you, that no corporate America, no government, no recession. Like, again, when I talk about time freedom and financial freedom, and when you really look and understand what apiary is and what it can do for you and for others, that's exactly what it does. And so I'm looking at it more long-term from that perspective, not for myself. I have my brother on this call because I think he will absolutely dominate and crush this world of Forex. It's literally, I just know in my heart that it is built for him. And I'm going to share this opportunity with others. And so my mindset is it's not just about me. It's, I want to be a part of Shawn and Matt and Jason's vision of how many hundreds of thousands of people can we help with this opportunity? Because we talk about $1 trillion and it's a crazy number to think about, but we haven't even scratched the surface on the potential that we can do for others. and it's not just nationwide, it's worldwide. And so I couldn't be happier with my investment. I couldn't be happier with everything that I've seen. I'm so glad I found this opportunity. I mean, guys, I've made the mistake of joining some of the Facebook groups and doing the Googles on other Forex companies and stuff out there. And holy smokes, I mean, I'm in the insurance industry. I know why my industry has a bad rap. We've got a lot of knuckleheads in there. And I didn't think we could have another industry like ours, but man, the Forex industry has a lot of knuckleheads in there too that don't know what the heck they're doing. And so, yeah, man, again, 6 weeks in, I'll be getting funded, but truth be told, I'm looking for the long game, and I'm looking for more. How many tens and hundreds of thousands of people can I help? That's kind of where I'm at. So I don't know if that's what you're looking for. I kind of get off on these tangents sometimes, but I'm loving it, man. I'm really just loving it. It's the culture, it's the people, it's the purpose of the company. That's why I'm in it. And that's why I couldn't be happier with things.
Well, Chris, thanks, man. We really appreciate it. And guys, when I hear these testimonials, obviously I love the content of what he says, but man, most of the time I judge by their excitement level. And he said, man, I'm sorry to go off on these tangents. Look, that just shows truly how passionate and excited you are about it. And, I just jotted down a couple notes here. What Chris said, he said, what people are looking for is time freedom and financial freedom. And look, Chris is the epitome of that. I've had the opportunity to vacation with this beautiful family that you see there. And that is at the top of his personal priority list, is having money and time to be able to live that lifestyle. So Chris, man, we sure appreciate you logging in and telling us that story. We're gonna do a couple more, guys. The next one is Kathy Buchanan, and guys, we've, when people ask me, well, who's the best traders? What demographic? What background? I mean, it fits everybody, right? And so Kathy's going to tell you a little bit about her story. She's just getting started, but she's had the opportunity to meet Shawn and in person, and she's into the beeline, and she can tell you her experience with the coaches that she's had and the training thus far. And I think Kathy, when she originally started looking at Pivotal Wealth, she wasn't interested in the trading side. She was interested in what we do on the debt side for folks. And so she really came to our meeting literally saying, guys, I'm really not interested in trading. I'm interested in the debt. But then after she saw the opportunity and met Shawn, now she's in the program as a market maker and cruising through the beeline. So Kathy, are you there? You sound like you're cutting out a little bit, actually. Keep talking. We'll see if it gets better.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, it is kind of garbled. Sorry about that. You nailed it on the head, both you and Chris. Chris, I ditto what you shared, and Jason, exactly. I told Matt, I'm going to Vegas, but really no interest whatsoever. Robert had shared the debt aspect, and man, when meeting Shawn, it just is, it changes everything. It changes the perspective of people are going to try and sell me on this big package. And it's like, no, I sold myself meeting Shawn and how humble he is and knowledgeable and compassionate. I was so impressed. That was February 27th. I will never forget that day. In fact, Jason, I would love to get the picture of all of us at lunch, because I believe that group, if not people had come before, but that group are the ones who are going to be making changes. Like Brett Coombs was there, Neil was there, Steve Ramona. Anyway, it's just phenomenal. The community of Pivotal Wealth is so valuable. And then you add apiary community, and we are super double blessed. We have the best of both worlds, where we can share and build together. And really, it's that life. For me, I'm 61. I don't have retirement. That's a scary thing. And to be able to create skills that I can control myself, that I can be the vehicle, as long as I'm diligent and persistent. And oh my goodness, the trainings are stellar. Step by step by step. Cassidy, I am in love with that girl. Shawn, you raised a brilliant gal who is just like you. And she has walked me through, I'm at silver 1. Woo-hoo! I'm so like, whoa, what just happened in 3 weeks? But she helped me overcome obstacles because I'm a newbie. I've never even touched the word Forex. I've never, ever. And yeah, pips, what are those? And she got me over the bronze 3 that I thought was going to be forever with just some techniques. And so I meet with her every week, and I love those sessions. And I can't wait for next week and what she's going to help me with this silver 1. It's going to be a difficult one, but you know what? It is that ability to, like Chris says, this isn't a sprint. This isn't like, I want to be the fastest person to get through the beeline. No, it's, I want to PR myself every single day. It's like when I coach high school volleyball, that's what we do. It's all about our personal development and getting better on skills that we know we need to refine. And I mean, that's just the skills is powerful. And this is it too. In silver 1, I'm learning so much about risk. Tell me that if you were a solo out there learning from gurus, that anyone's going to take you by the hand and help you with risk management. They're not. But we have people who are vested in us because they want us to be able to trade their funds, but do it wisely. So I feel so confident in what I'm learning and that I'm not just being thrown up there on the wall and they're hoping I'll stick. It's so different. So, man, just, I appreciate you guys. I do. I'm going to go, I don't know if you'll be able to, oh, it won't let me do video. I was going to show you. I'm wearing my Box Elder Bees volleyball t-shirt, and I've got my bee from the athletes who shared it with me. And Shawn, thank you for what you've developed with this. Jason and Matt, thank you for being the marketing arm of this. We are changing lives, and I'm super excited to be a part of it with all of you.
Well, thank you, Kathy. And again, talk about excitement level. We can hear the grin on your face as you're talking. And so thanks again for your time. Guys, again, we're just going to have a couple more because I just feel like it's so important to hear people from different backgrounds and just their experience on it. And like I said, these were unrehearsed. I called these people within the last 45 minutes to an hour and said, hey, give us 2 to 4 minutes of your best and your opinion. So this next gentleman is Robert Burns. And I actually, unlike the other 2 people who just spoke, who I've known for a few years, I just met Robert a few months ago. And man, he's just been, he's helped us so much on the Pivotal Well side with his tech background and knowledge, and he's just been awesome. Robert has not only started to excel as a trader, but he has referred a bunch of people to the company, and so he can talk about that as well. And we're just excited about building a future with Robert, that's for sure. Robert, are you there, buddy?
I am. Jason, can you hear me okay?
We sure can.
Well, wow. How do you follow what just was said? I went down. Gary Wood nudged me a lot and said, hey, why don't you come down to Seattle? There's this fella named Sean Lucas. He's going to be in town, and I'm really knocked out by this Forex trading stuff. And I have traded kind of, dabbled at it since 2004. And I went down to watch Sean. Literally, here's what happened. I'm in the audience with Gary. Gary and I are sitting in the audience, and I looked at Gary when Sean was kind of midstream in his showing the wobble technique, and I said, dude, I could do what this guy's doing right now. Watch this. I've got an account. It's dormant. I'm going to actually hop in my account. I'm going to do a few trades just to mirror what he's doing, unbeknownst to Sean completely. I got done, and these results are not typical. Past performance is no indication of future results. I got 32 positive trades in a row. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I said, man, I looked at Gary. I said, man, this is cool. Then approached Sean after the thing, and I said, how much time do you take per day? Once somebody's acquired these skills and attained the skills, and this was the thing that really, I'll use fishing metaphors a lot because I love to fish, but where he set the hook with me is he said an hour most days. And I'm like, okay. So if I got the results I did without cracking the books, what's it going to look like once I do? And so I was very, very excited coming back from that, and the thing that I've just decided, and this was, we're kind of like in that world of pre-corona and post-corona, right? In other words, this was all pre-corona. I'm like, okay, I want to learn, finally bite the bullet and really do this thing. I mean, really do it right, commit, to Chris's point. In other words, be like the guy that is really going to do the deal and really finally learn how to trade properly. So I said, okay, I'm doing this. And we went down to Las Vegas, and it was just reaffirmed the information that I had seen. And what's been so exciting is along the way, I can't resist when business is like this, when it's something I really believe in and I really like. And so the thing that I see here is there's three ways to make money. One is, of course, trading, which I'm candidly, I'm a little behind some of my team. Kathy, Neil, Brett, all are people in my organization that are further on the trading than I am. And the two that really, Brett is kind of like me. He has some trading background, but the two that to me are much more significant than us two are Neil Salvino and Kathy Buchanan, who had never touched anything Forex related. And to see the results that they're already, moving through the process, halfway through, both of them just hit silver one within a day or so of each other. That's really exciting to see it. And, what happened is I actually had the opportunity, and I just say this because it's indicative. I have been I've been lagging a little on the the education, but don't feel too bad because last week the company deposited $6,000 in my account from the previous week's sales, and that's just we haven't even scratched the scratch. In other words, the idea, Chris alluded to this, this thing, guys, is international. There's traders all over the world that if they saw what's here, and this is the part where I get excited about the business building part, because yes, the trading, I'm all in. I'm like the pig at breakfast, man. I'm committed. I want to be a good trader because nobody can take that from me. I want to be able to do that and do that on my terms, self-determination. And imagine you were in the retail business or the restaurant business right now. Or in Neil's case, in the rideshare business, business changed. I mean, maybe, we don't really know what's gonna happen. I mean, never, this hasn't been for 100 years that we've had something like this hit our country. My father lived through the 1918 pandemic, and I'll never forget. He said, when you push that button on the elevator, use the knuckle, the knuckle, not the tip of your finger. I never really got it until recently. He was born in 1907, lived in New York, and made it through the last pandemic. But my point in that is we don't really know what's going to happen. And what I do know is that the Forex market, no matter what happens on Main Street or Wall Street, we've got something where we can make money no matter what. And that's so many people that's resonating with right now. In other words, we got that reminder, Corona has accelerated lots of different things. If an industry was shaky, well, guess what? It's in deep trouble now. Look at retail, and I have that commercial real estate background. So I look at that and I can't help. I can't turn off that radar. But to see this and see the possibilities here, from trading to being able to sell the product. If you don't want to build a team, cool. You can do one, you can do two, you can do three, you can build a team. You can pick any combination of them. What an awesome place to do business. What an awesome way to do business. So with that, I want to thank Jason and Matt and Gary, my sponsor, and Sean Lucas. You've touched people in a way that very few people do. And I feel very grateful to be in the position that I'm in right now. So back to you, Jason.
Robert, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. And I love how you go over, the different ways we can make money here, trading or sharing the opportunity with people and building a team. And the fact that you've made thousands of dollars. In fact, I mean, I don't want to say exactly what you earned, but I know you've had a week where you made more than most people make in a month, right? Just off overrides and people you've shared into the program. So Robert, thank you very much. Guys, one thing I've learned in my years of presenting and building teams and whatnot is there's always a fine line between, the stories and the I call it fluff, even though it's just great information and testimonials and the meat and potatoes. So we definitely don't want to cross over that to where we're all just about the hype and the stories. We're definitely going to give you some meat and potatoes today with Shawn, but I do want you to hear from one more gentleman. And Tim Turbyville is just one of those guys, man. When I met him, I'm like, holy cow, this guy he's just awesome. He's got a background financial services and building massive teams in his career, been incredibly successful. And, you know, when you meet him, I feel like him and I, we've kind of, and Matt, we've kind of run on similar tracks as far as our backgrounds and what we've done and built and grown and similar companies. And so Tim saw this and just, you know, I think obviously he's got into the trading, but, you know, he's also going to be a big player on building a team within Pivotal Wealth. And so he's going to be our last testimony, and we're going to turn the time over to Shawn for some of the meat and potatoes today. So Tim, are you there, buddy?
Can you hear me, Jason?
We sure can.
You know, I hate to even take any time away from Shawn because his words are far more valuable than mine. But let me just say, I had the distinct pleasure of meeting Jason and Matt and Shawn back in, I think it was late December. And Gary, the gentleman that Robert talked about, invited me down. Gary and I have been partners in business for, oh gosh, well over a decade. But, you know, the only Forex trading I ever had, I bought into a bot once, a Forex bot. And it was like $500 deposit. And this was an automated deal where they were going to trade Forex. Well, a year later, paying $149 a month for some software, my $500 was worth $479. And yet, you know, I bought the software every month and it never made me any money. And that was my experience of Forex. So when I went to Vegas and I met you guys and saw what you were putting together in terms of a company, I thought, what a great opportunity, you know, work on debt for people that are struggling financially and work on teaching people how to make a living on their own without having to depend on anybody. And for those of you that have, you know, never experienced that, well, it's I don't know, it gave me a great sense of relief after meeting Shawn that, wow, maybe I could do this. So I got the Market Maker package. I am one project away from going to Silver 2. I didn't understand any of this. I didn't really, I mean, I heard the term PIP, but I didn't really understand how they, you know, all the intricacies of any of this. And this training, to me, I'm in my early 60s, you guys. I've been in business for myself since I was 26 years of age. I spent 30 years in the insurance and investment business. I have been to more schools and courses and stuff than you can shake a stick at, but I've never, and I mean this, I've never seen a curriculum that was designed to where my 16-year-old son could become a trader. I mean, Copper 1 is kindergarten. And then you go from kindergarten to grade school, and then he takes you from grade school to high school. And then we go from high school into college. And I think what we end up with is a master's degree in understanding, as Kathy said, risk management, in understanding Forex, and understanding how to make money, and understanding what you need to be able to identify when you're looking at charts. Man, I never traded individually on my own, and I have no doubt 2 months into trading now that I could take my laptop, I could go anywhere in the world, and as long as I have internet access, I can make a living. And to go from not knowing anything to now 2 months into the school knowing that I could make a living anywhere. Jason and Shawn, and for anybody on the webinar, I don't know how to articulate to you the security and just the peace that gives me as a dad and as a man who's not financially independent yet, but who understands in the love of our freedom and our time to control our own destiny. There's nothing more precious, you know, than being in control of your time. And apiary gives me that. It gives all of us that. It gives you the ability, if you will dive in and study and be a good student, I think everybody can get through this course, and everybody can learn to make a living. And I'm grateful for that. I'm truly, truly grateful for this. It's been such a blessing. I'm so excited to learn what I'm learning. And you know, Jason, for me, I am all about, Shawn has 2,000 traders. I heard Shawn say he's moving about 8 billion a month through his fund, but he'd like to move 80 billion a month through the fund and really have an impact on the market. And we have the opportunity to go share this message with people that are looking for a real opportunity and looking for that security of knowing, look, if you never recruit a person, if you never sell a deal, if you don't do anything but become a client, you can take care of your family through the apiary program and what Pivotal Wealth has partnered with and put together. You can take care of your family, and you can survive and thrive financially through this program. And to go tell that story and share that message with people, I'm really excited to be a part of it. And I thank you, Jason, and thank Matt and Gary and Shawn and all the people that have been integral in getting us to where we are today. But it's really the coolest program I've ever seen. And Shawn and his team have done a masterful job at designing it so that the average and ordinary can become extraordinary. And I'm just grateful to be a part of it. Thanks.
Well, Tim, thank you very much again, man. I really appreciate you doing this. And I talked to Tim this morning. I said, hey, man, do you have a picture in particular you want me to use? He said, go on my Facebook. I got a ton on there. Well, every one of them was like him in a suit and hair done nice. And I picked the one of him hiking in the Grand Canyon with his kids. And needless to say, his hair is a little messed up there. But look, man, Tim, I loved your words, man. Very heartfelt and sincere. So,
hey, and Jason, just so you know, that picture of me and the kids is a trip we took to Hawaii a couple of years ago, and spent 8 days on the islands and just had a blast. But anyway,
man, that's even better. So, well, hey, thank you. And guys, everyone who gave a testimonial today, I really appreciate it. Listen, guys, again, I'm sure some of you guys were like, okay, we get it, man. We love it. It's great. But let's get to the meat and potatoes. And that's where we're at right now. So, those testimonials for me were amazing. I love hearing how this system has changed people's lives. And I'm sure Shawn is smiling ear to ear right now too, because this is a program that he developed, guys. He's the one that put this all together. And, he really hopefully doesn't need much of an introduction from us now, because if you were invited on this call, chances are you've been told about Shawn and what it is. Not only did he put together the training system that takes people like Tim said, from kindergarten up through grad school, but he said, listen, our training is so good, we don't even expect you to trade your own money. Trade my money and we'll split the profits. And guys, I'm going to tell you one thing that a lot of you may not even know. Shawn does not take money out of the fund. The money that goes, that when it's a 50-50 split or 60-40 or 70-30, whatever package you're on, that money doesn't go to Shawn. It goes back into the fund to be traded by you next month and all the other traders. Shawn trades for a living, which, talk about putting your money where your mouth is, right? So just such an incredible gentleman. And kind of like Tim said, man, I almost find the words hard to introduce somebody like this because you can't do it justice. So, Shawn, we're excited for you to share whatever you feel like sharing with us today. And we just appreciate you taking part of your Saturday to jump on with us. So I'm going to turn the time over to you, bud.
Hey, thank you so much, Jason, and great to be with y'all this morning. Let me see if we can share. This is one of those rare moments where you see me without a hat. Hey, Tim, just want to say thank you for your words this morning. I'm super grateful for the opportunity that I've had to meet you and all of you here. Man, we have such a great Pivotal Wealth has such a great group of people. Like, I love it. I often talk about my traders in the fund. And in the fund, I have, over 2,000 funded traders that are managing the money in there, right? And I love our traders. Each one of them has a story. Each one of them have families. Each one of them have different experiences in life. Each one of them have different backgrounds and different things that make them who they are. And it's so great to get to know them. We talk about culture here at Apiary Fund. I don't even talk about culture. The word culture is replaced by the term hive. We are a hive. The Apiary Fund means beehive. I don't know how many of you knew that, but it's a beehive. And if you get in and you study a little bit about how a hive works, how a beehive works, it's fascinating. It is a system where one person helps another person. And it's a system where the system supports the people. Does that make sense? How great is that? I mean, really, it's just awesome. I love it. And I hear Tim talk, and I hear Robert, and I hear Kathy, and I hear Chris, and I'm just like, man, this is awesome. This is the dream that I had to build. I mean, we're creating a movement here, if you will, and it's not like anything else. It's like, we're not going out there and promising and making outlandish claims of, how much money you can make. It's not that. If you heard Chris talk, it's about building that culture. It's about building an organization. It's about having a company that values purpose over your profits. And that's what we have here. Tim, you mentioned, master's degree. I mean, before Apiary Fund, what kind of opportunity do you really have to master this world? Like, you literally had to go to an Ivy League school, right? You go to an Ivy League school, and then you break into the industry because you're top of your class, right? That's the people that they bring in. Now, those people, they get all the resources. They get the training, they get the mentorship, they get the opportunities, they get the money, right? Those guys don't trade their own money. I mean, really, they don't, right? That they have the opportunity because of the system that they came into, if that makes sense. Like the whole fund management, the old boys club, the old stodgy financial, the old stodgy financial Wall Street world. But we're here to change that, and we are changing that. And I love to hear, comments like Tim and Kathy. I love to hear your comments because you get it, you understand. And furthermore, you bring this energy and this life to the whole process. And I love, 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 love that. Another thing Tim was talking about, I mean, he's like, I love the freedom, right? He's like, I can do this anywhere. And check this out right here I'm sharing this webpage right here. I'm sharing this webpage, and this is my Instagram page, right? I'm not very good Instagrammer. My kids are like, Dad, let us take care of this for you because we're way better at this than you are. But this is my Instagram page, and look what I'm trying, the message I'm trying to tell everybody here. The message is, I trade everywhere. It doesn't matter where I am. It doesn't matter. Here I am. This is a beach in Florida, and I'm in a Marriott, and I'm overlooking this beautiful beach, right? Well, guess what had happened just before this picture? A hurricane hit Panama City. And guess why I'm there? Because I traded for an entire week, and I took every one of my profit, every dime of my profit, and I put it all together, and I withdrew all my profit for that week. It worked out to be about $14,000 that week. And me and my son went to Panama City, and we started buying up gas tanks or gas cans full of gas, and we drove around, and we had chainsaws, and we were helping people take out the trees that had fallen in their yards and in their driveways, and we were giving them tanks full of gas, just those red tanks that you have. My son and I were giving them these tanks full of gas. We had the coolest part of this story is, my son was like, "Oh man, you know what these guys don't have that they would really love?" And I'm like, "What's that?" He's like, "An ice cream sandwich." And so I was like, "Oh, what a great idea." So we bought every ice cream sandwich in the entire city outside where the hurricane hit, and we packed it in dry ice, and we started handing out ice cream sandwiches. And you know what these folks were saying? They were saying, "Man, we've got all these great people coming out and helping, Red Cross, all the religious organizations, you've got clubs, you've got, companies coming down here and helping out. But the thing we love the most, oh my gosh, is these ice cream sandwiches. We haven't had anything cold for 2 weeks." And I was like, "Oh, that's, how do you have an opportunity to go do that? You need something that gives you freedom. Can you walk away from a job? Can you just walk away from a job for a week and go and do that? I mean, that's going to cost you income from your paycheck. You're going to have to pay for airline tickets out there. You're going to have to, and then what do you do when you're out there? You're going to spend money to try and help these people. That, folks, is freedom. And when I loved what Chris said. He's like, one of the things that Chris noticed right in the very beginning, and he's very astute, is that this is an organization that values purpose over profits. Purpose over profits. Again, in our world right now, you just don't find organizations like that, right? And that's what we're all about. You can't go and help a city that's been devastated with a hurricane without some level of freedom. How do you get that freedom? Well, you have to develop it. It just doesn't come naturally, right? You have to create it. You have to get out there. You have to build yourself into it. And when you can do that, freedom comes. And then you're able to enjoy, a week of hard labor, sweating the whole time, going back to the hotel at night, exhausted, and you love every minute of it. Check this out. This is one of my favorite pictures. My wife snapped these pictures. My wife loves to go to these Broadway shows. And here in Utah, we have this outdoor theater. In fact, I don't know if I can, no, I'm not logged in. We have this outdoor theater, and it's located in it's a canyon with all these massive red cliffs. And it's a Broadway stage, and it's outside. And so every year I give my wife these tickets, and we spend a week down at the Broadway shows. They bring them in from New York, and my wife loves it. Well, here I am trading before the Broadway show starts, and I'm just kind of enjoying, making a little money. For me, that's entertainment. That's the life I love, right? So here I am sitting with my sweetheart next to my sweetheart at this Broadway show. She's getting everything she wants. She's having the time of her life. I'm having the time of my life, sitting there making a few bucks. I mean, that pays for the dinner, it pays for the tickets, it pays for the whole trip right there. That's freedom, right, Tim? This is another one that I love, right? Any Harry Potter fans? Any Harry Potter fans out there? Let me show you something here. Maybe I won't. Oh, right here. This is me trading at the train station in London, platform 9 3/4, I think. I don't know what my kids would tell you, but that's me trading at this iconic train station from this iconic book. And I'm sitting there, I had a layover. So here I am, at the train station, having a great time, doing a little trading. And, someone snaps a picture. That's fantastic. Here's me trading in a meeting. I have a lot of meetings in my life, but I'm often sitting there, while everyone's talking and doing their thing. And I'll sit in that back and do a little bit of trading. Graduation ceremonies, come on. Graduation ceremonies are the most boring things on this planet. Now, everybody's super excited that you're graduating. That's fantastic. We love you. We support you, but they are boring. So what do? Pull out the computer, make a few bucks while you're waiting to watch your daughter walk across the stage. That's freedom, right? We can trade everywhere. Here's, I work with a group of Boy Scouts. So I believe in giving back to a community. I believe in helping, train and develop young men, inspire them to do great things in their lives. And so here I am. The boys love it when I say, hey, you guys go do a little bit of your merit badge work. Go do a little bit of your merit badge work. I'm going to take a little drive and find internet connection. And they're like, oh yeah. Scoutmaster Lucas is heading out to get internet. They all know what that means. That means that I'm coming back with loads and loads and loads of candy. Because I'll take my profit and I'll just go in and use it to buy up, to give these boys at the time of their life. That is freedom, right? So, I think Chris hit the nail on the head. I love what he said about that, the purpose over profit. When I get into a meeting, I manage a fairly large fund. Like, you would think that is probably one of the most stressful things that you could do. I mean, every day your money is out there. And think about this. My money is out there in your hands. You're not a proven Wall Street professional. You're not, you don't have this track record of years and years of success in the market. You're new. But you know what? I'd rather work with you any day of the week. I've spent my time on Wall Street. When you sit down in meetings on Wall Street, you're talking profit maximization. What can we do to squeeze more money out of this world, these people? That's not right. It's not right. Guys, there is, we're here to help each other through this process, right? Now, these corporations, these big companies, these would hire me to come in and sit down with their traders. They'd say, like, Shawn, will you sit down with these traders? Will you help them work through their problems? This guy can't, for some reason, for years and years and years, this guy was trading great. All of a sudden, he can't make a dime in the market. Something's wrong. Shawn, will you help him? So I'd come in and I'd sit down with them, and I'd start to ask questions. I'd start to get to know what the problem was, what that trader's problem was. You know what I'm saying? And we'd go through development, exercises. We'd say, okay, if this is really a problem, let's do this. Let's put together some practice exercises that you can do to kind of train that out of yourself, right? Most trading success it has nothing to do with, your knowledge. Like, I couldn't go into these organizations and give them any more knowledge of the market. It had nothing to do with that. This trader was struggling because something wasn't working up here. You know, something wasn't working in the head, or emotionally something was taxing them, right? I discovered something. This is back in 2006. I discovered something. When these companies would hire me to come in, you know, I'd sit down with someone, and probably within 10, 15 minutes, I had a pretty good idea what their challenge was. And I was sitting there, you know, and I'd be talking with them, and then I'd go back and I'd explain, you know what this guy's problem is? Blank, 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 blank. And I'd explain it to the person, to the company. And they're like, how do you know that? You only sat down with them for 15 minutes. And sure enough, they discovered I was spot on, right? And I was in a conversation one day. With one of these execs, and this exec happened to be had his formal training was in psychology. And he's like, oh man, what you're explaining is some psychology concepts, you know, what personality traits. Like, he's like explaining to me that the things that I'm telling him are things that, you know, a psychologist would go in and start to dive into. And I'm like, well, yeah, it makes sense, right? Trading is all about psychology. And so after a little while, I started, you know, researching a little bit more about how people work, how they work and how they make decisions. And I reached out to a professor at the local university, at Brigham Young University here. And the professor was like, oh, this is really intriguing. I'd love to kind of dive into this a little bit with you. And so one of the things we developed together is this investor profile. Check this out. So when a person comes into Apiary Fund, one of the first things we do is we try and get to know the person, right? Now, I have 2,000 traders all over the world. It's kind of hard for me to spend that one-to-one time with them now. In the beginning days, it was really easy, but it's really hard to find that one-to-one communication at this stage of our development as a company. But what we can do is we can start to understand who this person is, you know? And so we created this investor profile. And, you know, people, the two underlying talents of trading is learning how to manage risk and learning how to manage your emotion. And so we look at how do you manage risk and emotion. You take this little test, and all of a sudden it tells you what type of a trader you are. I mean, we've had years and years of data backing this information up, but I can tell you relatively quickly, you know, through some simple tests, what kind of trader you are. I'm clearly an analytical trader, right? But I've got this element of aggressive in me. Like, I have to understand something, and then, man, watch out, because I'm going full steam ahead, if that makes sense. And it's kind of fun, because right in the very beginning, as you start to develop yourself into, you know, someone who can manage money in the market, you know, right off the bat, you're learning who you are, because I may tell you things from an analytical perspective. I might teach you something that's like it resonates with every analytical trader out there. But guess what? The methodicals are sitting over there. Just show me what to do. I just need to show step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. That's how that group thrives in the market. They just need those step-by-step systems. They don't care why necessarily things work like us analyticals, but they need that step-by-step process. And so every one of my instructors, you know, they'll share their profile with you. So, you know, the instruction that you're getting is going to be through an analytical perspective. The intuitives, you know, they're getting a little different take on everything. You know, a lot of intuitive decisions are done through, you know, their gut. They trust their gut. And it's great because, you know, an intuitive trader who develops their gut instincts, oh man, they are phenomenal traders. Aggressives, man, aggressives. You talk about, you know, the folks that get through the apiary fund and real quick are usually the aggressive traders. You know, these guys are like flying through the development process, and then all of a sudden they get to that funded account, and you know, watch out, because they're getting into trades. They're getting in, they're doing it, and it's fantastic. So not only do you learn a little bit about who you are and how you interact with the market, but you also learn who everyone else around you is. And think about our industry. I mean, think about it. I mean, I can't even count how many lectures I've been to, how many seminars I've been to, you know, and every one of those seminars say, this system is the best system on the planet. This is how you do this in the market. Not one of them told me who they are or what makes them think the way they think. And so that person is only, that lecturer, that presenter, that professional is only able to connect with a small group of that audience. The majority of them can't even understand what he's saying. I mean, it just makes common sense. So a lot of our education is tailored around the type of people that we work with. And that is so unique. I mean, it's so unique, right? So then we work you through this development process at Apiary Fund, right? Going back to what Chris was saying, he's like purpose over profits, right? So Apiary Fund has developed a curriculum. It's a step-by-step process that helps a person who knows relatively nothing. I mean, Kathy says she doesn't know anything. Kathy has heart, and heart is going to take you a long ways in this industry, Kathy. It doesn't matter the knowledge. The knowledge is the easy stuff. We can get through the easy stuff, but it's the heart that carries you through that. And I love that. I'll always envision Kathy in that shirt, live your best life. I love that. So we take you through this development process, right? And every step of the way, there's something we can measure. There are things that we can measure about how effective we are doing as the Apiary Fund. And so what we do is we review these steps right here. Let's just go in here. So give that a second to load here. All right, so these are all steps that you got to take, right? And a lot of some of these steps are really simple. It's as simple as watching a video, right? The strategy behind stops. There's actually purpose behind putting a stop loss mechanism on your trade. So we make sure that we teach the concepts. Knowing that, understanding that concept of the reasons, the reasons and the strategy behind your stops, just knowing that's going to give you a level of experience in the market, right? And so you get these experience points as you develop yourself through our training. You gain experience. It's kind of like the games that our kids play, right? Those kids are like online, you know, bleep, 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 and they're on some quest, and they're leveling up, you know, all these levels, level up, level up, level up. Apiary Fund, we level up, but this is real, right? This means real money in the future. This means real capabilities and real experience, and this means real character development. That's what we do. A lot of, I often show this because it's like, you know, how many lectures have you gone to where they say, okay, now go, your homework is to go back and place 100 trades. And you're like, they don't do that. Lectures don't give homework, but that's what you need. What you have up here is only a part of the battle. You need that experience. You need to go out and place trades. So we have you do it. It's part of the curriculum that you go through. But not just that, check this out. This is another requirement. You have to document your emotional experience through 25 trades, right? So let's say you learn how to invest on your own. Let's say that you're like, no, thank you, apiary. I don't believe, I believe this is too good to be true. I don't believe in the concept of what you're doing. I want to do this on my own, right? Who in their right mind goes through the process of thinking, in this trade, I need to document and track my emotional experience? Nobody thinks that. How would you even think that on your own? It's not even a concept that crosses people's minds, right? We say don't be emotional, but during each trade, you have this emotional curve. You're happy, you're sad, you're frustrated, you're mad, you know, you're elated when you get out. And so what we do is we help you track your experience, your emotional experience through your trades. It's exceptionally powerful, right? So we're talking about all these different requirements, right? And we sit down every week and we ask, is this still a good step, or is there another step we need to add in this process to help someone through the learning curve, right? And in those meetings, there is one mantra that makes every decision making, and you can ask any of the staff at Apiary Fund. The mantra is this: does it meet the purpose? Does this help promote and move the purpose forward? And if it doesn't, then we don't do it, right? I've been in meetings, Wall Street meetings, where the question isn't, does this meet our purpose? The question is, does this maximize our profit? And if the answer is it doesn't maximize profit, or it doesn't have the ability to influence profit, then they don't do it. Well, I don't live that way. What I do is I ask the question, does this meet our purpose? Does this accomplish the purpose of why we're here and what we're doing as an organization? And if it doesn't meet our purpose, then it's sidelined. Does that make sense? So I really appreciate Chris Reed and, recognizing the value of that, because purpose-driven companies, they may not be the most successful, but they will become a living force in the world. And that's what we're doing here, is we want to build that force in the world. We want to create traders that are able to perform in the market, and not because they went to some Ivy League school and got some master's degree, but because they've gone through a process that they've gained experience, right? Kathy mentioned a little bit about the pre-fund managers. Like, you might not know what their name is. Like, you might call them coaches or whatever, but these guys have a purpose. Their purpose is pre-fund management. Their goal is to help you get through the development process so you can get funded, right? That's the whole reason why they're there. A lot of that every week I sit down with Cassidy and we talk about, you know, all of the different traders and all of the different stages they're at. And we talk about what we can do to reach out and motivate and help someone through these processes. And I love it. Kathy, every meeting, Cassidy brings up Kathy Buchanan. I don't know what it is. You guys just connected, and it's just a beautiful thing. But she loves to see you progress, and she's rooting for you. I mean, she genuinely cares. All of our pre-fund managers care. They genuinely want to see you progress through the process. Folks, I'm probably keeping you too long, so let me just wrap up real quick. Look. You may come in, you may be attracted to apiary fund because you think, oh, I get to use Shawn's money. You may become attracted to apiary fund because, you know, it's like you're thinking about all this money that you can get paid out. The value of apiary fund. What is apiary fund really here for? I'm here to develop people, right? That's my job. My job is to develop successful traders, right? And because here's the thing is, if you can genuinely develop this skill in your life, it's freedom. Coronavirus doesn't affect you. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter where you are. I showed you all the different places where I trade. You know, jobs. You know, people are losing their jobs. Like 30 million people have lost their jobs already, right? It doesn't affect you. The fund has had the 2 back-to-back best months. March was a record performance month. April is another record performance month for apiary fund. The ups and downs of the economy don't affect us. But look, it's going to require some effort. It's going to require a little bit of work. It's not a get rich quick thing. You can ask Matt and Gary and Jason and anyone, Tim. You can ask any one of them. I never sit in here and talk about how much money you're going to make. That's not my purpose. This is an organization where we're creating freedom. You know, if money is the mechanism that gets you there, so be it. But it's a development process that you're going through. And you can search the entire world over. You will not find an organization like Apiary Fund. You just won't. Because we take you through the entire process, hand in hand, essentially through the entire process. You'll love it. It's a great place. We have great traders here. You'll feel home, right? You'll feel a home here at Apiary Fund. And I think that, you know, that's a lot of what we were talking about kind of boils down to this is what we offer here. Money, it's a side, you know, yeah, we want to see that. But, you know, the very minute you sit there and you start talking about, you know, how much money you're making here, how much money you're making there, I'm going to be like, look, you're missing the purpose, because you are. We are a special company, and we got special people. We have fantastic people that we're working with. And I love the Pivotal Wealth group. You guys bring a life, like you have a life, a zeal and an energy that you've brought to our fund. And I love it. It's been fantastic. And so I say, let's just join, you know, let's just band together and let's make some major changes in this industry. Let's give the people the power to change their lives, right? There's a lot of reasons why that's an important thing right now. Let's just make it happen together, right? I need you to get out there and promote this concept. We only get better the bigger we get. And that's our job here together. So Jason, Matt, I'm going to turn the room back over to you. I've already taken way too much time. I apologize for that, but I'll turn the room back over to you.
Shawn, thank you. And guys, you should actually go in and read. Shawn, I know while you're talking, it's kind of hard to go in and read the chat, but believe me, people don't want to listen to me. They're sitting here going, no, don't put Jason back on the screen. Shawn, you just keep going. But guys, if you literally just go down through the chat and see, these are people that hopefully you understand, they don't have a vested interest in your success. They don't, whether you get involved or not, these people that are commenting are, they're not, they don't benefit financially from you coming on board. They're saying, hey, listen, guys, we're a family. Come be part of it. We'll celebrate your successes. We'll help you when you need to. And Neil, you are no longer on my Christmas list for making fun of my gray beard. Okay. But Shawn, dude, thank you so much for, just sharing part of you today. And there's no replication in Shawn Lucas. Like we could never replicate you and bring what you bring to the table. And we're just super excited and grateful for our partnership with you, Shawn.
Oh, thank you, Jason. I feel the same and I love it. Thank you.
So guys, listen, that's it, man. And I just, if you're a person that's maybe on the fence or seeing this for the first time, get with the person who invited you on the call and just tell them what your level of interest is. And if, we have several different educational packages to get started and to help share. Again, one thing Robert said in his testimonial is he said there's several different ways to make money with Pivotal Wealth. One is becoming a trader. And he said it's great learning that skill, kind of like Shawn says, plant the money tree in your backyard. So when you need some, you can go out there and pluck a few bucks off when you need them. But the other way is referring people. And again, you're not required. You can be a trader without becoming an agent of Pivotal Wealth. But usually when you find something that's this good and life-changing, you want to share it with other folks.